Alright, y'all, sorry. I know I missed the last like 2, 3 episodes. To be honest, I didn't really feel like we missed that much, but we back for episode, I think this is episode 5, Power Book 2. We got to get into it. We're going to get into it quick and easy, and we're going to explore some predictions. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so let's say our RIPs to this man right here, Lorenzo Tejada. Granted, he might have been the worst boss in my days. From what they talked about him prior to him coming out of jail to what he showed after coming out of jail, didn't look too boss like to me. It looked like his wife was the real boss in the first place. Shout out to Monet. But we didn't, so we really didn't need Lorenzo, but we needed his death because his death now sparks what I predict to be a battle for the top in the Tejada family for their business. Because if you think about it, Monet's gonna want to just keep running things now because obviously she's the oldest. She was running it beforehand. Why would she not run it now? Kane's gonna want to run it because as a man, the oldest man in the house now, he's gonna want to run it. And then Drew might even want to run it because of the fact that hey, Lorenzo was gonna give it to me anyway. That's what he was trying to do before. So why wouldn't he give it to me now? And then we have another issue that's going to spark because we all know at some point between Gordo being the one, you know what I'm saying, being in bed with Drew literally, like we know that this is going to somehow, the truth is going to come out. It's going to be revealed as power. It always comes out. That's what they do. So it's going to be revealed that Monet had to Lorenzo killed by Gordo. And that only I don't even know what's gonna come from that with that family. That's gonna be crazy. And I feel like they might just split down the middle. Who knows? Some might stick with Monet, some might not. I don't know. Like I'm interested to see how Power's gonna spin that because that's gonna be crazy to me. All right. So sorry for the crude photo, but we're here. That's what I got. So anyway, Noma's finally back after like a 2, 3 episode hiatus, which I hated because I really do like Noma as a character. And with Noma being back, she's still coming back doing the same thing she was, laying down the law, being super powerful as we all knew she was. And she comes in and like basically spills the beans that hey, I used to be with this. It seems like she just has a thing for I guess powerful men because between her, she was with Mecca apparently, and then she was with this Italian dude who's like a mega billionaire, and apparently they had a child together. And we'll get to who that child may or may not be in a second. But we're just focusing on Noma. We see that she's gonna do whatever it takes for the money. She done shot and killed a billionaire, and I don't. In the typical power fashion, it's probably gonna be just what it is, and that's it. I don't know in what world you kill a billionaire and it doesn't come back on you, but that's power for you. Either or. Noma came back. She's just being the regular badass self. Nothing really more to say about her. Just be on the lookout because they did figure out that the daughter that she has, they saw the picture in the painting. Effie found it. They found out that that daughter is more than likely going to be her Achilles heel. And you see that Noma has no plans of letting Tariq and the gang, slip through her fingers as far as doing her work for them, even though they plan on getting out. So they're probably going to have to leverage, like they said, using her daughter to get out of this. And I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to say it. This is my prediction. This is my prediction for who her daughter is. I just feel like it has to be her. It has to. I feel like what else is Noma is not Noma Kiki's storyline. I just feel like it has to be that she's Noma's daughter because I feel like she's like Effie. I feel like had to because people are saying it might be Effie, and I'm just like because I feel like it has to be a character we already know. That's my prediction. I feel like it's a character we already have known, we've met. I feel like it's not a character that they're gonna just newly introduce. I would hate. I feel like that'd be a waste of like Kiki's character arc at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I don't think they brought her in here to be Brayden's love interest. I don't think that's the case. But I think this is Noma's daughter. I really do. I don't think this is a situation where it's gonna be like somebody brand spanking new to the cast. Um, and I think, because like I said, Effie, I think, the reason I think it's not Effie, like everybody else thinks it's Effie, is because I think Effie's just too far down in the mud for her to be Noma's daughter. I feel like if Noma knew she had a daughter out there, she'd make sure she's like, like Kiki clearly works at one of the top firms in the world. Like, I think for her, this is something that like, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Like she's doing well. Like if I had a daughter out there that I didn't want to know was my daughter, her to know, I would just make sure she's doing well from afar. You know what I'm saying? So this makes sense to me. It probably doesn't make sense to anybody else, but it is what it is. All right, we have Lauren right here. So Lauren, the whole thing goes down. You know what I'm saying? She kind of figures out like, hey, Jenny's kind of got her here against her will. She doesn't have to be there, so I don't know if she snuck out or if she just out. But essentially, her biggest thing this episode was she ends up running, contacting Tariq. I guess she remembered his number from the top of her head for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't name a person in 2023 whose number I know off the top of my head. But again, power, it's a show. Let me relax. Either way, she ends up doing, you know, Lauren ends up in a situation where she contacts Tariq. Tariq shows up, which is very sketchy, by the way, because I don't know who just shows up to a random text. Beats me. I guess that's the drug life. But then she showed up with like a box cutter, like as if she was really gonna use it, like be for real. But either way, and then she spills the beans that hey, Brayden and Effie were trying to kill me, and because she's basically trying to accuse Tariq of being in on that, and Tariq is like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Tariq borderline about to say, look, I wouldn't even be with Effie if it wasn't for the fact that I thought you was dead. So like Tariq is baffled and he's ready. I'm pretty sure in his mind he's ready to go to war. So Tariq a better man than me, because I'll tell you one thing for sure. There's no way I'm walking back to that room like he did with Effie, and Effie has a good night's sleep. Talking about, oh, I love you. No way, sir. No way, ma'am. We got to talk about what just happened. He's better than me, because I would have had to make that a show. All right, Monet, we already kind of touched on her, but obviously, just to refresh, she ends up, last episode, she found out the fingerprints from, Lorenzo being at the site where Zeke got shot, and then she ends up piecing everything together this episode, and then, Lorenzo finally comes clean, because Diana told him to just be the one to tell her, which was the dumbest advice ever, and then she gets upset, obviously, so she doesn't want to do the killing for her children's sake, but she ends up in a situation where she gets somebody else who had equal right and equal vengeance on their heart for another person that, Lorenzo was responsible for killing, and ends up having that person who was Gordo do the dealings. By the way, super gangster that they had him die in front of the Zeke Memorial. Great visual. Shout out to the directors on that one. But also, moving on, I don't know that she's fully thought this through, because like I said earlier in the video, this comes with a lot of implications, because now she has another secret to hide, and on top of having another secret to hide, this, like I said, she now has to start this power struggle. I'd be very surprised if this becomes like a very smooth, like, hey, I'm in charge thing, because at this point, like at the end, they end the episode with nobody knowing that it happened yet. So it's gonna be a wild thing, Here we have the biggest waste and piece of garbage in the show, because he's just moving wickedly sloppy. He's proven that he's way more trouble than he's worth. Because we want to start with him before they even go to Italy. He ends up in a situation where they're showing, they're heading on to the private plane, and him and his goofy self drops the phone that he does business on out his pocket. Kiki picks it up. She still hasn't done anything with it, but she can see that like there's something suspicious going on, because they see the crash coin, so on and so forth, things. So she's gonna start putting 1 and 2 together to make 3. So with that being said, that was number 1 mess up. So if that's not bad enough, he goes and him and Effie go on a mission to find the recorder that Noma sent them into the house for. He gets caught. Of course, he's Italian and can't speak Italian. And then, he gets captured, making this mission a whole thing where they got to even include Noma just to get the mission to be successful. Which is, they're lucky that she even agreed to it, because she could have told them to get out of here and they could have had to figure themselves out on their own. So he's lucky with that. And it just seems like everywhere he's turned, he just luck. Like, he just keeps getting saved. And I'm waiting for the time where, like, he has to save himself. Because he keeps getting saved from when he had to kill dude that came something to kill, and Tariq did it for him, so on. So like, it's just so many times he's getting saved, and like he's just proven to be just such a liability. All right, I'm probably gonna end with this person right here, Saxe. I feel like Saxe. I've said this in other reviews, reactions, whatever you want to call these. He needs to go. There's no reason Saxe is still in the show. I don't know what season Saxe came in on original Power, but I think it was at least season 4 or whatever, or maybe even season 5. Either way, you're coming from the original show to now it's season 3 of this show. It's done. Like, I'm tired of seeing Saxe do the same thing, the same move, same plot line. We can get him out of here, bro. It's time. We can definitely get him out of here. I'm sorry to anybody that is a Saxe fan, if there is that such a thing out there. But it's time for Saxe to go. I can only, how much more pictures of evidence he's gonna take, how many more conversations he's gonna eavesdrop on, blah blah blah. You see in this episode, he's smitten over Jenny, so he stalks her and then follows her to where Lauren is and botches that whole operation. So it's nothing good coming from Saxe. So like, you know what I'm saying? And then he's trying to put Davis behind bars. Like, we got to get rid of Saxe. There's just no reason. There's nothing. There's nothing here. We need to get rid of Saxe. All right, so that is the Power wrap up for this week's episode. Like I said, it's a lot going on. This is a very populated episode with action, and I'm looking forward to where this goes next. Because like I said, there's so much storylines that can go so many different ways and so many different predictions that can be made. And this is what they make their bread and butter off of. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm expecting nothing but greatness and power for, their level of what they do. And we'll be back next week, hopefully, for another one of these. Later. Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. He ain't focused.